Hey, it's Katie here. This is something I get asked about all the time, especially around the holidays, Black Friday. We are sending a ton, like a shit ton of emails at this time of the year, and it might catch a few of our subscribers off guard, or they might be like, I'm not interested in this. Can I pause your emails? You don't necessarily want them to unsubscribe if they're interested the rest of the year. So this is an alternative option to let subscribers simply pause your emails for a certain period of time. I typically do it for 2 weeks because if you're in the run up to like Mother's Day or Father's Day or Black Friday, those kind of emails tend to like have a run up and then are really intense for a short period of time and then they're done again. So I usually set it for 2 weeks. So this is how we do it. Okay, so here I am in my personal Klaviyo account. So I'm going to show you how to set this up. So the first thing that we need to do is create a custom profile property. So in this example, I'm going to use snooze as my property. And we're going to do something that's like snooze is on or snooze is off. So when someone sets their snooze to be on, they won't receive any emails for 2 weeks, for example. And then their setting will be turned to off at the end of the 14 days. So this is what we're going to set up together. So in order to set up the flow and the segment, you need it to be true for someone. So I typically just pick my own email address and I add it to that. So put in your email address in your profiles search button. Here I am. I live near Yeovil. So here we go. I am subscribed. And then this box is where we want to go next. So add a custom property. So I'm going to name my property snooze. And then I'm going to set it as on. So the spelling and caps are really important. They need to be exact. So I always write it in the same way and I always put the off or on in capital letters. So you do the same. Add profile property. Okay, so there we go. So I've got snooze on. The next thing we need to do is create a segment for all the people that have snooze turned on. So we're going to go over here. And I am going to create a segment. Okay, so I'm going to name this one snooze equals on. Really simple. So we are talking about properties. So properties about someone. And because I've created it on my own profile, I know that it's true, so it will show up. So you have to do that bit before you do this because snooze won't be there unless it's true for someone. So make sure this is on text. And then snooze equals on. So I'm going to create that segment and there should be one person in there, me. So let's see, this bit always takes a little while. So have a little drink, get a cup of tea. Okay, so there we go. I've got one person in the segment as expected. Okay, so the next part of this process is to create a flow that changes this profile property after a certain period of time. So I'm going to go to flows, create a flow. And this is not in the Klaviyo library. This is a special KTO trick. So I'm going to go into create from scratch, and I'm just going to call it snooze flow. Create flow. So the trigger for this flow is when someone's added to that segment, and they're added to that segment when their profile is ticked as on for their snooze property. So we're going to do segment snooze equals on. So when someone joins, snooze equals on. They're going to go down this flow. Then I need a time delay because I want to set how much time they should be snoozed for. And for that, I'm going to set it for 14 days, so for 2 weeks. And then after 14 days, what do I want to happen? I want their snooze profile to be updated from on to off. So I'm going to update profile property. And I'm going to update an existing one. I'm not going to add any new properties. I'm going to update the existing one because I want this to like override the on, and I want it to override it with off. Great. Once you set that up, just tick it live, and then we are ready to go to step 2. Okay, so now we are ready to add the most important bit of this. It is the little link to put in the footer of your campaigns so that someone can click on it. I don't normally put this in flows. I mostly just use it for campaigns when there's just a lot of emails going out at one time and people can just pause your campaigns. If they abandon their cart, they'll still get the abandoned cart flow and that sort of thing. So go into your master template. I've got this mock-up one, which you can buy. It's the plug and play Klaviyo template. If you want a nicely formatted template, this is what it looks like, with lots of placeholders. You can brand it, that sort of thing. So we're going to go all the way down to the footer. I'm just going to clone this because I'm going to do it on just one of them. So down here, I'm going to take out some of these things here. So we've got our unsubscribe. Great. But before that, if someone's like, this is way too many emails, I don't want to be getting this many emails. Before they unsubscribe, we want to give them the option to snooze the emails. So hopefully, if they're just feeling a bit overwhelmed by all the emails, they'll choose the snooze option rather than unsubscribe, and you can keep that subscriber who might purchase at a different time of the year. So this is a great opportunity to get your tone of voice across. Is your brand cheeky? Is it fun? So I usually like to say like, so because my brand is all about Klaviyo and email marketing content, I might be like, too much Klaviyo content in your inbox. Snooze our or my emails for 2 weeks. So you can give them this option. So if you do jewelry, it could be like too much so-and-so, such and such, or so-and-so. Like I originally got this idea from a cereal brand and it was like too much cereal in your inbox, snooze our emails. Great. So the trick here to implement this, I'll just take off that period so there's no like random full stop in my code, is we're going to snooze this. We want to add a link to that bit because they'll be like, yes, I do. And I'm going to click this link. So the link is the bit that does the magic. So you'll see it written just below this video, what you need to copy paste, and you need to adapt it to your own brand. So I'm going to pop it in here. So this URL, it updates the property. So the funny thing about copying and pasting text from other programs is that the apostrophes tend to switch to like the fancy ones and not just like the little dashes. I don't know the official words for these kinds of things. So you usually have to just delete them and put them in. So you can kind of see how these are a bit curved, and I want the straight ones. So I'm copying this from like notes on my computer. So I want to make sure these are all straight. Otherwise you'll get that there's like an error that's like, oh, liquid or template error, can't display liquid something or other. So to avoid that, we're going to just delete those. So snooze equals on. So when they click this link, their profile is going to be tagged snooze equals on. And then you want to put like redirect links. So I would usually put in like the home page or something. So when they click the link, they are like redirected somewhere. So they can just go to your website. That's fine. So I've just added in like a link from my website and click apply. So it's gone back to black because it's a link. So I'm just going to change that to white. And then there we go. So what you'll want to do is just preview that and double check that you've inserted it right. So this is where you would get the error. It would have like a little error here. So let's scroll down. Snooze my email. Too much Klaviyo content in your inbox. Snooze my email. I mean, is there ever too much Klaviyo content in your inbox? No. And this should be what you see, a placeholder, because it is in a preview. So it's not actually applying that profile property to your email address. But if you send it to yourself and click it, it will. But what you want to see is that placeholder. If you get a 404 page, then you haven't done the little code bit correctly. Okay, so the last bit of this process is that you actively have to exclude them from receiving your campaigns. It's great that they have clicked the link and you know that they don't want to receive those emails, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is, I'll just call this snooze test, is that every time you send an email, you will want to make sure that you exclude them. So you'll pick your list, and then you'll also want to exclude anyone that has snooze on. So that is like the manual bit of the process. So everything else is automatic, but once you start using that, remember to actually exclude them so that they don't receive the emails that they don't want to. And that's it. So that is a really good way. I've seen it working really well with quite a few brands. Last year I did it, and again this year I'm doing it for Black Friday for a couple of my retainer clients. And it's just a really, I think, quite polite way to give people the option before they unsubscribe to keep in touch, but maybe just pausing the emails for a little bit. I wanted to talk about other ways to use this in different scenarios. So you might see at Mother's Day and Father's Day, a lot of emails from brands that are like, do you want to opt out for Mother's Day? I am 100% against sending campaigns specifically asking people to opt out for Mother's Day and Father's Day. I almost think it's like even worse emailing them multiple times to say, are you ready? Do you want to opt out? Are you sure you want to opt out? It's like, it blew me a while last year sent so many emails. I was like, okay, that's like a bit overkill. So in my opinion, I would rather just have that at the bottom of the emails. Maybe you make like a specific banner, like a graphic banner, so maybe it's not so hidden in the footer, but maybe just above it that says, hey, Mother's Day is coming. Would you like to opt out? And it's an image that's like visual and it's done in a nice, friendly way. And the link to that image is that update profile property code. So there's a few other ways to do that. So if that's something like if you have a very Mother's Day gifty brand and that's something that you think would resonate really well with your audience, then instead of sending an email saying, do you want to opt out, maybe add that banner to your campaigns in the weeks leading up to Mother's Day. And then they have the option. You could just add it into your footer as well, but it's not as noticeable. So yeah, those are my kind of 2 cents about it. You could do it for Father's Day as well, but I think the one that tends to be the more popular option for doing that sort of thing is Mother's Day. Let me know if you have any questions about implementing that for your business. And I look forward to seeing snoozes in your footers. That's it for me. Take care. Bye.